The Earth's geographic regions are divided into a variety of ecosystems and biomes, which can support different plant species. There is no specific fixed number of geographic parts based on plant species, as the distribution of plant species is highly diverse and can vary depending on factors like climate, soil, and habitat. Ecosystems and biomes can be categorized in different ways, but a common classification includes tropical rainforests, deserts, temperate forests, grasslands, and more. Each of these regions can support numerous plant species. The exact number of plant species and their distribution within these regions is a complex and continually evolving field of study in botany and ecology. Biomes and ecosystems are related ecological concepts, but they differ in scale and complexity. Biomes are large geographical regions characterized by specific climate and vegetation patterns. They cover extensive areas on Earth, such as deserts, forests, grasslands, and tundras. Biomes are defined by their climate, temperature, precipitation, and the dominant plant and animal species that can thrive there. Multiple ecosystems with similar characteristics can be found within a single biome. Biomes provide a broad framework for categorizing Earth's major terrestrial environments. Ecosystem. Ecosystems are smaller, self-contained ecological units within a biome. They encompass the living organisms, biotic factors, and their physical surroundings, abiotic factors, in a particular area. Ecosystems can vary in size, from a small pond to a vast rainforest. They are dynamic and interconnected systems where organisms interact with each other and their environment. Ecosystems are more specific and detailed in their scope, considering the interactions and relationships between various species and their physical surroundings. The number of ecosystems and biomes on Earth can be a subject of debate and depends on how they are classified. Here are some details about ecosystems and biomes. Ecosystems. Ecosystems are communities of living organisms and their physical environments. They can be categorized into numerous types based on factors like climate, vegetation, and geographical location. Some common examples of ecosystems include forest ecosystems, such as tropical rainforests, temperate forests, and boreal forests. Grassland ecosystems, like prairies, savannas, and steppes. Desert ecosystems. Aquatic ecosystems, rivers, lakes, ponds, and marine ecosystems. Tundra ecosystems. Wetland ecosystems. Urban ecosystems. Agricultural ecosystems. Biomes. Biomes are larger geographic regions characterized by a specific climate, vegetation, and biodiversity. Biomes encompass multiple ecosystems and are often classified into major types, including tropical rainforest, temperate forest, taiga, boreal forest, grasslands, savannas and prairies, desert, tundra, chaparral, freshwater biomes, lakes, rivers, marine biomes, coral reefs, oceans, wetlands. The exact number of ecosystems and biomes can vary depending on how they are defined and categorized, and there can be subcategories and variations within each. It's important to note that the boundaries between ecosystems and biomes are not always clear-cut, and there may be overlap in characteristics and species. Scientists continue to study and refine these classifications to better understand the Earth's biodiversity and ecological systems. New insights may lead to the identification of additional ecosystems and biomes or changes in existing classifications. Now we are moving forward to discuss more ecosystems and biomes, but before that, if you're new to my channel, please do like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon to get notifications of new uploaded videos. Defining ecosystem boundaries can be complex, as ecosystems are dynamic and interconnected systems. The boundaries of an ecosystem can be defined based on various criteria and are often determined by the specific goals of a study or research. Here are some common approaches to defining ecosystem boundaries. Physical features. Ecosystem boundaries can be defined by physical features such as rivers, mountains, or coastlines. For example, a watershed can be considered an ecosystem because all water within it flows to a common point, often a river or lake. Biological criteria. Ecosystem boundaries can be defined by the distribution of specific species or communities of organisms. For example, a coral reef ecosystem may be defined by the presence of corals, various fish species, and associated organisms. Climatic zones. Some ecosystems are defined by climatic zones, such as tropical rainforests, which are characterized by specific temperature and precipitation patterns. Functional and trophic interactions. Ecosystem boundaries can be defined by the interactions between organisms and their roles within the ecosystem. For example, a wetland ecosystem may be defined by the interactions of plants, microbes, and animals involved in nutrient cycling and water purification. Human influence. In some cases, human-defined boundaries, like political borders or land use patterns, are used to define ecosystems. This is particularly relevant in urban ecosystems. Multi-scale approaches. Ecosystem boundaries can vary in scale. Larger ecosystems can encompass smaller ones. For example, a forest ecosystem is part of a larger landscape or regional ecosystem. Time and scale. Ecosystem boundaries can change over time and may be defined at different spatial scales. Seasonal changes or successional processes can impact the boundaries. It's important to recognize that ecosystem boundaries are often somewhat arbitrary because ecosystems are interconnected, and the exchange of matter, energy, and organisms can occur across apparent boundaries. The definition of an ecosystem's boundaries should serve the specific research or management goals, and it may vary from one study or context to another. Ecologists use a combination of these criteria to define ecosystem boundaries and conduct studies aimed at understanding the dynamics and functions of these complex systems. Defining the boundaries of biomes can be a complex process, and it often involves considering various factors such as climate, vegetation, and geographical features. Here's how the boundaries of biomes are typically defined. Climate. Climate is a key factor in determining biome boundaries. Specific temperature and precipitation patterns are used to differentiate one biome from another. For example, tropical rainforests have high temperatures and abundant rainfall, while deserts have low precipitation and high temperatures. Vegetation. The types of plants that dominate an area are a crucial part of biome classification. Different biomes are characterized by specific plant species or vegetation types. For instance, grasslands are dominated by grasses, while coniferous forests feature trees like pine and spruce. Geographic features. Geographic features, such as mountains, rivers, and oceans, can act as natural boundaries between biomes. These features can influence climate and vegetation distribution. Temperature and precipitation thresholds. Scientists often use specific temperature and precipitation thresholds to define biome boundaries. For example, a biome might be defined as a region with an average annual temperature within a certain range and annual precipitation levels falling within specific limits. Ecotones. Biome boundaries are not always sharp lines. There are transitional areas called ecotones, where characteristics of two adjacent biomes blend. These areas might have a mix of species from both biomes. Remote sensing and GIS. Modern technology, such as remote sensing and geographic information systems, GIS, plays a crucial role in mapping and defining biome boundaries. These tools help scientists analyze climate, vegetation, and other environmental data to precisely demarcate biome boundaries. It's important to note that biome boundaries are not fixed and can shift over time due to factors like climate change, human activities, and natural ecological processes. Therefore, defining biome boundaries is an ongoing and dynamic scientific endeavor.